Hey guys, and welcome back to Link's Awakening DX. When are we gonna get to the Animal Village factory?
Right fucking now, bitch!
Hell yeah, didn't even take 9 months.
So we need her because, I guess, as the bear put it, a tub of goo?
Oh, walrus.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's kind of mean.
Well, that could entail a lot of things. Alright, if you're just gonna do the one thing you're programmed to do, I guess.
I could poke him with my sword. I mean, I have a bracelet that makes me super strong. There are a few things I could do.
He's getting into it. He's getting crunk.
Yeah, some of the animals actually mentioned that he's, like, madly in love with Marin. It's like, ew?
What the hell, you killed him?
He dead, son. Oh, haha, you're such a celebrity, I guess?
See ya, call me.
Maybe?
All my dates end the same way, and a talking buddy comes along and, like, ushers the girl away.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say all your dates end the same, you lose 10 rupees and just advance into the plot.
Nothing worse than being friend-zoned due to no fault of your own, but for, like, the complete fault of a furry.
We needed to throw in another Link to the Past boss, so here's Lanmola to give you a key, and you fall into a hole when you beat him. It is possible to get the key, though, without falling in, and that makes you super pro, but I needed to fall into the hole because there is a heart piece down here.
Of course there is.
I think it would have been interesting if they actually had more than one Lanmola. You know, let's just go all out and go with the whole Link to the Past boss fight.
They could have very easily made, like, a Link to the Past Game Boy version, I think.
Well, that's what they were trying to do at first. Like, when they were just working with the development kit, it started as, hey, we have all these assets that we're making, let's just redo Links to Past, but then it started to evolve into its own thing, and then, like I said, it got sanctioned by Tezuka, and then it became a game.
I have written it. It is lore.
That is the lore. Learn your lore.
Are these Pokies up here?
Exactly.
Is this a Mario character, says Tom in a game that he's played for over 20 years?
You know damn well that's a Pokey. Don't give me any shit.
I'm just playing the commentator's card thing, so we have stuff to talk about.
The commentator's card? What is that? Like the race card, but more pathetic?
Yeah, basically.
Now we're finally getting to a waterfall, because it's sort of... If you're playing the game for the first time, you probably think that the owl has been giving you conflicting advice, because the voice said go to waterfall, but then the owl's like, no, go to the desert. And you're like, that's the exact opposite of a waterfall, dude. But then you realize, oh, you need to go to the desert in order to get to the waterfall, and then it all makes sense.
Oh, I see. What the hell is that crow-like thing up there? Thankfully obscured by the text box here.
Toucan Sam.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he has seen better days.
All these animals have.
It's a living.
You can also learn this song before Marin's date. They were smart enough to, she has 2 locations that you can learn this song, and it just depends on when you talk to her with the ocarina in hand.
All these years, I never saw the ocarina because it blended in with his, like, tunic and whatnot, so I thought Link was being all gangster, like, yeah, bitch, Link, leaning from side to side.
It's like, no, the little polygon between the hands, that's the ocarina. And that song sounded absolutely nothing like the Ballad of the Windfish and Majora's Mask. What the dealio?
Well, that one was a cover. This is the original.
Still sounds absolutely nothing like it.
Oh, here's my house metal ska cover of Ballad of the Windfish.
You threw ska in there, so I approve. Also, if you were to play the Ballad of the Windfish in front of her, she'll actually say that you didn't play it good. And then she's like, here, let me show you how it's actually done.
How about fuck you, Marin? I'll go date your dad, see how you feel about
that. Sure, why not? I ship it.
That's one way to get back at a woman, I guess.
I ship it.
Right, now we're heading to the waterfall?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I'm stuck
Is this entire playthrough going to be Are We There Yet?
I'm sorry, okay. It just took a while to get to the animal village and I'm a bit antsy now.
We're getting there. God. I'm just gonna let you all know that the pre-dungeon side questy things, they decrease, because obviously the further we get into the game, the less stuff there is to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also the dungeons themselves get a bit longer, so, they start to fill up a part instead of dungeons being 5 minutes, and I have to find 9 minutes of stuff to do.
Oh no. 15-minute dungeon. Heaven forbid.
Dude, no. 10-minute dungeons, too much.
I don't think we've discussed the teleporters yet. How do they work?
You walk into them and they spit you out into the sky!
Okay. Glad we had this discussion.
Yeah, and also they're activated by just being on the map tile that they're on.
Okay.
So that teleporter now works, even though we didn't go in it. The key we got from the desert unlocked the waterfall, or stopped the waterfall. I'm not entirely sure what it did, but now we can go to the next dungeon.
It's kind of like a dam key, really.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Not like an unholy key of the dam, just like, DAM.
It's like the Necronomicon of keys. It's a key made from human flesh and bones, which is pretty badass.
I would say the most annoying enemies in this game are those little scarab beetle things that knock you around.
The jewel beetles?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But, you just bop them off the ledge and then they dead.
Oh, I see a heart piece back there. Can we get it here?
No, we gotta wait a while for that one.
Okay.
I think that's actually one of the last ones we get. So.
Oh, jeez.
Well, there's only 12 in the game, and we've gotten a good chunk of them already. Because when you have 8 dungeons, that doesn't leave a lot of space left over for, heart containers from heart pieces.
We gotta see to that guy? Kinda seemed a bit urgent.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him. If you don't recognize him, he is the father of the quadruplets and of that 5th baby that we gave the bow. No, we gave the Yoshi doll to.
Okay.
And the weird thing is, he speaks in a third person. His name is Papal. If you talk to him at the beginning of the game, he will mention that he's gonna get himself lost in the mountains. He knows his destiny beforehand. And then it comes true.
That's a word you don't hear very often. Vittles.
I don't even know what that means.
I think it's just like food stuff. I can remember this, I forget what the actual show, book, whatever thing is. So you get me file and you get me vittles, you come back or I'll slash your throat.
Oh, see, I thought he was just, making a cutesy little shorthand for vitamins.
The word pip comes to mind.
Huh.
I'm sure more knowledgeable people in the chat can tell me what I'm referring to here, but it's completely gone out of my mind.
And all he gives us is a hibiscus, which, Marin has one in her hair, and Errol, I hope I'm getting the name right this time, she has them on her dress, so, it's sort of tied to all female characters in Zelda that are in some sort of tropical setting.
I'm gonna look that up and see if it has any meaning.
Well, it's just a pretty flower. It's just a water dungeon, guys. Unfortunately, this is what we have to deal with for the 4th dungeon. Don't go into deep water. Stay in the shallow. If you fall off, you're going to lose some hearts. It's pretty standard stuff at this point. Dungeons in The Link's Awakening don't really get interesting until, Dungeon 5.
Which, thankfully, is the next one.
Thankfully. But there is one trick to this dungeon. You kind of assume you can only jump horizontally, but you can actually jump slightly diagonally, and if you end up on that top area, you actually skip the first third of the dungeon and give yourself an extra key that allows you to skip another third. So just by making one trick jump, you skip more than half of this dungeon.
Sweet.
I would have done it, but like I said, the part would be too short. And also, the jump is really the only interesting thing about doing the trick. Actually skipping the dungeon isn't all that interesting, but, I just wanted to show off that I could do it, and that you all should bow before my gamer cred.
Okay, hibiscus. Its meaning is delicate beauty.
Isn't that the meaning of every flower, ever?
Oh no, there's other meanings and whatnot, the apple blossom, promise, lacking an E for some reason on this site.
Wow, and Tom, a man of many talents, including flower language, that came out of fucking nowhere.
Forget me not, remember me forever.
That makes no goddamn sense. So yeah, see, by doing this trick jump, you skip that whole area I just went through, and you just head straight on up here.
I probably won't be asking you, like, what was your favourite dungeon in this game, because honestly they kind of all blend together for me, for the most part. Don't get me wrong, they're well designed, but they're not as exciting as, like, future dungeons would be in, like, terms of handheld Zelda design.
I do have an issue with the dungeons, too, in this game, in that I've mentioned already before in this playthrough that Link's Awakening is very definitively the halfway point between A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, both in their design, and you see it a lot in the dungeons. Because Zelda 1's dungeons, I love the way that they are, where it's just a big maze. And a lot of people hate that, you know, it frustrates them, they're wondering, how am I supposed to get through this dungeon if there's no path? But I love that about those dungeons. A Link to the Past still has that in a lot of dungeons. Like, I like to think of the desert dungeon where you enter the first room and there's literally like 5 paths you could go through, and you're not entirely sure which one to get.
Oh god, I'm getting images of that one boss from Ocarina of Time here. I think it's the mini-boss for Jabba Jabba's belly.
It's based off this guy, Q-Ball, but, you know, just stand in place and slice his bald head.
Okay.
And it's pretty easy. So, with Link's Awakening, you start to see when they wanted to design dungeons with an actual path. I usually phrase it as, you go to room A to get to room B to get a key in room C that will unlock room D. Like, there's a set way to get through the dungeon. And that's pretty much the way Zelda dungeons have been since Ocarina of Time. And it's not a bad thing, it's just that I really do miss the true labyrinth nature of the Zelda 1 kind of A Link to the Past dungeons.
Yeah.
And I can blame Link's Awakening. I don't want to be mad at it, but at the same time, you can sort of see Link's Awakening as the first big stepping stone in casualizing Zelda.
I think we brought this up earlier in the playthrough, actually.
Yeah, and I'm gonna offend a lot of people, but I almost want to compare Link's Awakening to Skyward Sword.
Really?
In that they're both games that you can compare the hand-holding in the series before and the hand-holding during.
I'm actually kind of miffed at that, actually. I don't agree with that at all.
Well, I'm not going to say that they're the exact amount, but they're very proportional in how much hand-holding they added to the series.
No, I don't agree with that. There's no equivalent to Fi in this game, so for that alone, Link's Awakening is miles better than Skyward Sword.
Yeah, and I will give Link's Awakening that, is that a lot of this hand-holding is very optional.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to deal with the owl statues. You don't have to call the phone house. But just the fact that there's so many hints there, it's like, wow, do people really need these?
Well, again, it's like a game to be played on the move and whatnot. It's a handheld game, so it has to be streamlined and such.
Exactly. And that's why I can't hate Link's Awakening for all that, because it works for Link's Awakening. My big problem is that it carried over into the console games.
Yeah, Nintendo has a habit with that, and they're very inconsistent. Like, again, I'm going to bring it up in Twilight Princess. If you had full health and ran over a fairy, you won't pick it up. Flash forward to Skyward Sword, what happens when you've got full health and you run over a fairy? You pick it up. Also, this boss is pathetically easy.
Yeah, because now it's dead.
Oh, that was going to be my big break. My big boss enemy break.
Yeah, you know, he could have gotten a rehash with Gyorg in MM3D, but no, let's put an eyeball in the mouth.
We'll get to that next year or whatever.
The surf harp. I would love to see Link actually surfing on the surf harp.
Oh, that's not bombastic at all. No, I don't care if it's a harp, it should be bombastic.
Better than a bell.
Yeah, I guess. They can't all be winners, I suppose. Alright guys, we shall see you next time for another installment of Link's Awakening DX. Bye bye for now.